Commissioner Lindley, can you hear me now?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'll just do it through the phone. Sorry about that.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Eli, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right, well, good morning. This is John Neerman, and it is my pleasure to call this meeting of the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality to order. Today is Wednesday, November 18th. The time is 9:30, and I'll begin with the roll call. Good morning, Commissioner Lindley.
Good morning.
And Commissioner Janeka, good morning.
Good morning.
So our commissioners are all present, and how about our general counsel? Are you there, Ms. Smith?
I am, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. And good morning, Mr. McWhirter.
Good morning.
Okay, so our public interest counsel is present as well. I'd like to remind folks to keep their phones on mute when they're not speaking. I'd also like to remind anyone who's here only to listen that they can watch the meeting online, and that link is available on the agenda notice. For each item where argument or discussion is allowed, we will inform speakers of their time limits. The registration closed at 9:30, but if you'd like to address the commission on a particular item, please email agenda@tceq.texas.gov with your name, affiliation, and the item you'd like to comment on, and we will do our best to accommodate that request. For those who are making presentations, please wait to begin your presentation until I or our general counsel have asked you to begin speaking, and please check to make sure that your line is unmuted before you speak. All right, before we get going here, I am pleased to announce that the commission has appointed Lori Garris to serve as TCEQ's chief clerk, and that is effective today. Lori has served most recently as the manager of the agency's Water Master section, and before that as team leader in the TERP program. And before coming to TCEQ, Lori served as the director of the Wisconsin Center for Environmental Education, and she also has a teaching background, both at the high school and university level, in subjects including science, natural resources, and forestry. So Lori, we are pleased to see you bring your particular skills and experience to this important role. Congratulations. And with that, I'd like to thank everyone for being present this morning. And Ms. Smith, I'll ask you to please call the first item.
Item number 1 is the application by the Lower Colorado River Authority to renew and amend TPDES permit number WQ000210500. The parties have been notified that the commissioners will not take oral argument but may ask questions. Those who have signed in will be noted for the record.
Thank you. And for the benefit of those who are not familiar with our process, we begin our analysis of requests for contested case hearings by determining whether the requesters have met the procedural and substantive requirements to be entitled to a contested case. Requesters who are affected in a manner different from the general public and who have articulated personal concerns that are relevant and material to the permit and have done so both in timely comments and a timely hearing request are entitled to a hearing. So colleagues, on this item we had 3 requesters, 2 of whom have withdrawn, and the remaining requester, Mr. Hruska, raised generalized concerns about water quality, but they were not concerns particular to him or his situation. There were concerns that are common to the general public. In addition, his property is more than 2 miles upstream from the proposed discharge point, so it's pretty clear to me that he's not an affected person under the relevant authorities and is not entitled to a hearing. Commissioner Lindley, how did you come out?
I came out the same way.
Commissioner Janeka?
I reached the same conclusion about Mr. Hruska's failure to raise a personal justiciable interest and noted the withdrawal of the other 2 requesters. So I'm in agreement with you.
Thank you. So that's dispositive of this item, and I'm ready for a motion if one of you will offer one.
I've got one. I move that we deny all hearing requests, that we issue the amendments and renewal of TPDES permit number WQ000 2105-000 to the Lower Colorado River Authority as recommended by the Executive Director and adopt the Executive Director's response to comments.
I second the motion.
The motion has been made and seconded. Commissioner Lindley, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Janeka?
Aye.
I also vote aye. The motion carries. Ms. Smith, please call the next item.
Item number 2 is the consideration of material changes to contracts for goods and services awarded under Chapter 2155 of the Texas Government Code executed during the previous quarter. The Executive Director's staff is here to present the item.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chairman, Commissioners, General Counsel, and Public Interest Counsel. For the record, my name is Allison Scott, Compliance Evaluator for the Procurement and Contract section of the Financial Administration Division. I am representing the Executive Director. This item contains the material changes made to contracts and purchases for goods and services between June 1st, 2020 through August 31st, 2020. Reported material changes include extensions of the contract or completion of work for 6 months or more, or an increase in consideration of 10% or more, in accordance with Section 2155.088 of the Government Code. The Executive Director presents these items for your consideration. I am available to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Ms. Scott. I have none. Commissioner Lindley, any questions?
No questions. Thank you.
Commissioner Janeka?
Thanks. None for me.
Ms. Smith, has anyone signed in to speak on this item?
No, no one's registered.
Okay. And Mr. McWhirter, what are your thoughts?
OPIC recommends approval of the resolution acknowledging material changes to contracts for goods and services as presented by the ED.
Thank you. I've reviewed these items and agree that we should acknowledge these changes. Commissioner Lindley, what do you think?
I would be supportive of an approval.
And Commissioner Janeka?
I'm likewise in concurrence there.
I'll entertain a motion.
I have a motion. Yeah, I move that we approve issuance of the Executive Director's proposed resolution that acknowledges the material changes to contracts for goods and services in accordance with Texas Government Code Section 2155.088 for the period of June 1st, 2020 to August 31st, 2020, as described in the TCQ Interoffice Memorandum to the Commissioners and Executive Director dated November 18th, 2020 in docket number 2020-1289-MIS.
I second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Commissioner Lindley, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Janeka?
Aye.
I also vote aye. The motion carries. Ms. Smith, please call the next items.
That takes us to our enforcement docket, items 3 through 22. The Executive Director's staff is here to present these matters.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chairman, Commissioners, General Counsel, and Public Interest Counsel. For the record, my name is Melissa Cordell of the Enforcement Division, and with me today are Brian Sinclair, also of the Enforcement Division, and Charmaine Backens of the Litigation Division, representing the Executive Director. Pending before you are items 3 through 22. The total assessed administrative penalties are $304,616, with $53,375 deferred, $54,450 applied towards supplemental environmental projects, and $196,791 to the general revenue. We respectfully request approval of these items and are available to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Ms. Cordell. I have none. Commissioner Lindley?
I don't have any questions either. Thank you.
Commissioner Janeka?
None for me, thanks.
Ms. Smith, has anyone signed in?
No, no one's signed in.
Thank you. Mr. McWhirter?
My office reviewed these items and we recommend approval of the orders as presented by the ED.
Thank you. I reviewed these items as well and agree. I think we should move forward with approval. Commissioner Lindley, any additional thoughts?
I'm in agreement, and I have a motion. It sounds like we're all in agreement. So I would move that we adopt items 3 through 22 as recommended today by the Executive Director.
I second that motion.
The motion has been made and seconded. Commissioner Lindley, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Janeka?
Aye.
I also vote aye. The motion carries. Ms. Smith, please call the next item.
Item number 23 is the consideration of the monthly enforcement report, and the Executive Director's staff is here to present this as well.
Good morning again.
Good morning. My name is Melissa Cordell of the Enforcement Division, and with me are Brian Sinclair of the Enforcement Division and Charmaine Backens of the Litigation Division. We are here to present the monthly enforcement report for fiscal year 2021 through September. There were 103 effective administrative orders issued, and of those, 16 contained supplemental environmental projects. These orders assessed a total of $1,131,351 in penalties, with a payable amount of $632,307. $286,758 are to be paid toward supplemental environmental projects. 1,027 notices of violation have been issued through either our field offices or review of self-reported data in our central office, and 73 enforcement action referrals have been received. There are 1,492 pending administrative orders with 181 cases that are on the backlog. 207 cases are pending at the Attorney General's office for representation in district court, and 1 judgment has been issued. 2,098 cases are being tracked for compliance. We have included for review a summary of OCE investigative activities for fiscal years 2019, 2020, and 2021. We are available to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Ms. Cordell. I have none. Commissioner Lindley, any questions?
I don't today, thank you.
Commissioner Janeka?
No questions at this time. I appreciate the report.
Thank you. Ms. Smith, has anyone signed in?
Nope, no one signed in on this one.
Mr. McWhorter?
I don't have any questions, and I appreciate the report.
Likewise, I want to thank staff for the report, and no action is necessary in this item. So, Ms. Smith, I'll ask you to please call the next item.
Item number 24 is the adoption of amendments to 30 Texas Administrative Code sections 30.20, 30.24, 30.33, 30.34, 30.36, 30.81, 30.95, 30.129, and 30.402, and the addition of new section 30.29 of 30 Texas Administrative Code, Chapter 30, Occupational Licenses and Registrations. The Executive Director's staff is here to present this item.
Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners, General Counsel, and Public Interest Counsel. On behalf of the Executive Director, I am Becca Moore with the Occupational Licensing and Registration Division. With me is Hollis Henley with the Environmental Law Division. The adopted rulemaking amends 30 Texas Administrative Code sections 30.20, 30.24, 30.33, 30.34, 30.36, 30.81, 30.95, 30.129, and 30.402 to ensure consistency between the rules and their applicable statutes as amended by House Bill 1508 from the 85th Texas Legislature and House Bills 1342, Senate Bill 37, and Senate Bill 1217 from the 86th Texas Legislature. The adopted amendments remove language that give the agency authority to suspend or revoke a license, to disqualify an individual from receiving a license, or to deny an individual the opportunity to take a licensing exam based on the individual's conviction of an offense that does not directly relate to the duties and responsibilities of the licensed occupation and that was committed less than 5 years before the date the individual applied for the license. The adopted amendments also address the agency's procedures for providing written notice to individuals whose license or opportunity to be examined for a license the agency intends to deny because of an individual's prior conviction of an offense, and remove language allowing the agency to deny or take other disciplinary action against license holders or potential license holders who are in default of their student loans. The adopted rulemaking also adds section 30.29 to address the procedure for individuals to petition the agency to seek reimbursement from a training provider if they were not notified that they may be ineligible for an initial occupational license due to their criminal history and were subsequently denied the license due to a criminal conviction. Additionally, the adopted rulemaking removes language referencing the Texas State Board of Plumbing Examiners and includes a reference to alternate generic licensing agency to avoid any complications should the licensing of plumbers move from the board to an alternate agency in a future legislative session. The proposed rules were published in the July 31st, 2020 issue of the Texas Register. The public comment period closed on August 31st, 2020. The rule team did not receive comments during the public comment period. In conclusion, staff respectfully recommends adoption of this rulemaking to Chapter 30. Additionally, staff requests authorization to make non-substantive revisions necessary to comply with Texas Register requirements. Thank you. We are available to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. I have none. Commissioner Lindley, any questions?
No questions, thank you.
Commissioner Janeka?
Likewise, none here. Thanks.
Thank you. Ms. Smith, has anyone signed in to speak?
No, no one has signed in on this one.
Thank you. And Mr. McWhorter, what are your thoughts?
OPIC recommends approval for adoption of the proposed revisions to the Commission's Chapter 30 rules for legislative implementation as presented by the Executive Director.
Thank you. And colleagues, I agree. This is a fairly straightforward piece of legislative implementation to amend our occupational licensing requirements. There were no comments. I think I'm ready to go ahead and adopt it. Commissioner Lindley, what are your thoughts?
I completely agree.
Commissioner Janeka?
Likewise, and hearing that, I'll make the motion. I move that we adopt the amendments to and new section of 30 Texas Administrative Code, Chapter 30, Occupational Licenses and Registrations, as recommended by the Executive Director.
A second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Commissioner Lindley, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Janeka?
Aye.
I also vote aye. The motion carries. Ms. Smith, please call the next items.
Items 25 through 28 are for closed session, and the Commission will not meet in closed session this morning.
Thank you. And colleagues, with that, the time is 9:46 and we are adjourned.